Hello and welcome back to the Mix Academy. I'm David Glenn, and today we're going to talk about loudness. Whatever side of the loudness war you're on, it doesn't matter. In this video, I'm just going to kind of share my thoughts, share my techniques, and kind of point you in the direction of how to achieve a loud mix without absolutely destroying your beautiful mix. So right out of the gate, let me kind of say, I choose to mix through a series of processing similar to mixing through a limiter so that I can hear and feel how that's working along the way. Whether you do that and you learn some things from this, or if you just kind of slap a limiter on and see how your mix is feeling before you send it off to mastering, either way, I feel like it's important to at least know what your mix, how your mix is reacting to the final limiter. So with that being said, at the very least, check your mix through a limiter. But if you're interested in kind of establishing that mastered sound in the mix per se, and there's reasons to do that and reasons why you maybe shouldn't do that. But for me, most of my clients are going to be releasing my final mix. It's mastered. And then when I can push them and encourage them to, they're going to go to a professional mastering engineer. I love the additional set of ears that provides, be it the hardware, the outboard gear that they can provide. But if they're not going to someone who really knows what they're doing, I'd rather just take control of that and help them release something that they can be proud of. So in this video, let's break down some of the ways that I'll accomplish a louder mix. Now, when I say loud, I'm not necessarily saying -4, -6, whatever. I'm using these techniques as it feels good for whatever it is that I'm mixing. And so sometimes I'll be at that -5, -6. It's very rare, but sometimes I'll hit that. Other times, kind of in that -7 to -9 range. If I've got something that needs that kind of open, and I'm not afraid to send something off as low as -10 to -12, whatever. But for the sake of technique and not necessarily getting all technical on you guys, I'm going to show you kind of how I achieve a loud mix. So first off, I've got a stereo bus. I'll use a little bit of tape saturation sometimes. I do use some bus compression. Sometimes I'll use 2 stages of bus compression, have the all music here, and I'll run things through. In this particular mix, I did not, but sometimes I will compress a little bit here, maybe a dB or 2 for the all music bus. And then also at my mix A, I'll hit it with a little bit more kind of like that SSL style bus compression. Give a shout out to Bob Horn. The mix A, B, and C that you see here came from a conversation with him years ago where he mentioned, he'd seen Michael Brower do his thing for however long with the 4 different sets of compressors and sending through. And so very different than that, but he was kind of inspired by that to try something. And he kind of shared, mix A, he would have his kind of like his stereo bus, or I think he actually left it clean. I use it as my kind of 2 bus, EQ, saturation, whatever. Mix B is a parallel compression. Mix C, parallel clipping. And then your kind of final where they all meet for the final limiter. So for me, I've got mix A as kind of my stereo bus. You may have seen videos I did for the Pro Audiophiles years ago, the stereo bus masterclass. Those tend to get a lot of views. But I'm mixing it up a little more nowadays, using way less than I used to. But for this particular mix, we had the VMR, and we'll show you real quick, not necessarily part of the lesson, but I don't think no. So we just got the virtual mix bus. Then we go to a Studer. I did show a little love. Studer's doing its thing. And then I went to this awesome Brainworks BX Townhouse. I love this thing. And you see we're getting about 4 dB reduction. Sometimes that's a little more. If it sounds good, it feels good, I'm going to rock it. But usually it's under 4. 2 to 3 is usually nice and gentle. Just to kind of, the glue, the whole trendy glue term for the stereo bus. Ozone, in this case, I did a little bit EQ match. This is something I mix pretty quickly for my members and subscribers to the Mix Academy membership. If you want to purchase my mix through of this song, I do make that available. You can actually mix this song for free by going to themixacademy.com, and I've got a thing called Free Song of the Month. You can download these, mix it, use it on your resume. No questions asked. You don't even have to look at a thing that I did. It's free. Every month we do a new song, so check that out. Link in the description below. But EQ match, again, not a part of this tutorial. Let's go here. So mix A, just kind of showing you that's where I'm treating the mix. EQ, compression, saturation on a case-by-case basis. Depends on the mix. Mix B is going to be, like I said, parallel compression. I've been loving the Kush AR1. I've been using and abusing this thing. And in this case, I went to the MIXPrep. I went to the MIXPrep presets and just kind of clicked through a few, found this one that I liked, and I rocked it. I've been getting pretty aggressive with this and loving the results. One key thing I will say is turn that oversampling off if you're abusing it the way that I am. I'm using it on all kinds of tracks, and my system, I've got a pretty hefty MacBook Pro, and yeah, it wasn't going so well with that oversampling on. So turn that off if you're going to use more than a couple of instances. And yeah, so parallel compression here. I don't want to get too technical on you guys. This could be if you're trying to get a little bit of volume and maintain the punch. You want to go for that slower attack, slower to medium attack, fast release. In this case, I'm trying to grab it and hold on to it without crushing it because I'm going to rely on a little bit of clipping as well. So I've got a slower attack, but also a kind of slow release as well. So tempo-wise, that just felt good to me, and we'll move on from that. But I would say slow attack, fast release, and then give it a good amount of compression. Let's see, I might have been a little more gentle on this one because this is not something that needed to be slammed loud. What 5 to 7 dB of reduction or so. But again, fairly gentle because of that slower release. If we crank the release, let's actually just listen to the compression. You can hear it's fairly low in the mix. Let's turn it up.
Sentence left unspoken, left you bruising, left me losing all of you. Not one promise that was made, one left unspoken. Don't keep thinking.
Just a gentler approach on this particular mix, but usually I'm going for that faster attack, especially for something I'm rock, pop, kind of getting aggressive with this parallel compression. But try some different things, man. Have some fun with it. I would say slow attack, fast release on an 1176 even could be fun. Maybe pull the release in until you feel like, or excuse me, the attack. Just kind of pull it until it starts to grab a little bit. So all the way slow, and then just kind of pull it in. You get a nice little grab. You're going to be good for this. Very simple. And then what I do is I set it with my stereo bus muted. I guess it would be important to show you how I set this up. My mix A here, a clean signal of that goes to, you can see here, into mix B. And then they both meet at the mix bus. Same thing for mix C. It receives this para mix send. Important to showcase that. I'll pull that up and mute mix A. Set the compression how I like it. Get it feeling good, aggressive. If I'm going for loud, just try to find that good attack and release setting so that I can just grip it, and then I'll turn it all the way off, pull mix A back in, and then I'll pull it in parallel.
Every word and every sentence left unspoken, left you bruising, left me losing all of you.
So you can see there, I was a little more aggressive with it. Loudness, so it's not like it's taking over the mix. Getting a good attack and release setting, just a little bit of compression there. Sometimes that's 20 dB of reduction, so don't be fooled. That's not my preset for every single mix, but maybe we'll showcase the mix bus processing on next month's song. I got some cool stuff in the works for you guys. But anyways, that's kind of how I set it up. Get a good compression going. In this case, a little bit more on the gentle side compared to how I might do a hip-hop, pop song, heavy rock song, something like that. Mix C. Didn't use it in this particular mix. It is parallel clipping. I have not used this in going on a year or so, but I could see where this could still be helpful if I'm really trying to get EDM, whatever, a pop song that's just they want it to slam, to smash, to get really loud. Blending in some parallel clipping where it's just white noise. It's like flatlined. Get that in, and just a little bit can go a long way to get you that extra couple dB of loudness. But what I've been doing lately is using K-Clip, and I think they have a newer version of this, but I'm still rocking this one. Anywhere from 2 to 4 dB of reduction, 2 to 3 usually for me on this guy. 2 to 3 dB of clipping before my final limiter. And, you know, I've been told that's a technique kind of borrowed from the dance world. Cool. But yeah, I've been doing that, a couple dB. And then my final limiter, 3 to 5 dB of reduction, just depends.
Every word and every sentence left unspoken.
Often my ears get a little tired, and this ends up doing a little bit more than I want to. And then at the end of a mix, for me, I will kind of look at my limiter, look at my loudness, pull up on my meters, see where I'm at. Adapter's been great for that. The metering's been excellent. And I'll take a look, see where I'm at loudness-wise, and if I'm comfortable with it, cool, I'll sleep on it, and I'll check it again the next morning, do a little bit of referencing, see how my ears were, make sure I tend to be stubborn, hard-headed, and mix a little bit longer than I should. But yeah, taking a break, resting the ears, coming back, checking the levels, and then sending that mix off to the client. Before I print the final master, I will double check that my limiter has got the oversampling on. I'll set that usually about 16 for stuff that gets released, and bounce it, and we're good to go. So multiple stages of compression, stages of saturation could be cool. We've got the clipping we talked about. Hopefully this inspires you guys. Beg, borrow, steal it, whatever you want to do with it. Be inspired. Try out different compressors. I can't talk. The AR1 has been a huge go-to for me. The Novatron. I used to use the Fairchild quite a bit. Just about any compressor that would work on a bus. You can get super aggressive with it here at the Mix B. And again, those are Mix A, Mix B, Mix C, routed into what I'm calling the Mix Bus. And then from there, that's going to go out to my monitors, my headphones, yeah, and so forth. So, hey, I hope you guys dig this. Feel free to comment below if anything you'd like me to elaborate on or see in future tutorials. We've got next month's song coming to you. Again, free song of the month. Download it at themixacademy.com. Resume-friendly multi-tracks. And we'll catch you in many more tutorials to come. Take care.